everybody, Stefan from EDC Austria here, and today we are talking about the Sanrenmu Land 9103. I haven't covered Sanrenmu a lot, even though I had for the longest time one of their most well-known knives, the 710, in two variations. This one is actually a limited version, a limited edition. It's number 379 of 400, the carbon fiber one. And I didn't know what to say. Also, there were so many reviews out already. But when the big one came out, the 9103, I thought now it's time to review this. And I have this knife now for a couple of months and was deciding on how to do the review. So we'll first talk about the general specifications, and then we're gonna talk about the obvious. So the blade steel is not a Chinese steel, but it's a 12C27 Sandvik steel. Not the good one that Kershaw uses, but still a Sandvik steel. The handle is stainless steel. It runs on ball bearings, although I don't know if they're steel or ceramic for this price. I guess they are steel. The total length is 20 centimeters or 7.87 inches. And the blade length is 8.26 centimeters or 3.25 inches. And the blade thickness we'll check out in a little bit. The knife itself is a flat grind that goes all the way up here. It really runs buttery smooth. It's not a flipper. It has some studs on both sides, so you can use it both as a left-handed person and a right-handed. Something you can't do on a knife that's very similar to this one, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. Aside from that, the pocket clip is reversible. You can just take it off here and put it on the other side if you're left-handed. Only tip up, but why would you ever put a knife tip down? So there's no question there. Let's check out the blade thickness. It's 3.11, so about 3 millimeters. And while we're at it, let's check out the weight. Okay. We have 135 grams even, which is 4.16 ounces. And now I guess we should address the elephant in the room. This knife is very similar to this knife, being the Chris Reeve Sebenza 21, although this knife costs $16 or 16 euro, and I paid for this 429 euro. So there is a slight difference in price. This one, the Chris Reeve, this is the 21 version, meaning it was the 21st anniversary of this knife when it came out, and it was hailed as, and is still, as one of the best knives ever made. It has a S35VN blade, because Chris Reeve also co-developed that steel, and it has titanium handles. If you compare these two, you see that Sanrenmu really borrowed very, very heavily when building this knife, down to the placement of some of the contact points. But with the 7010, I thought this isn't really a problem, as it was way smaller. This one is just a tiny bit smaller than the Sebenza, but it's by no means in the middle of between the large and the small Sebenza. It's just a tiny bit smaller than the large Sebenza. They even managed to better place the pocket clip so that it doesn't press on the lock bar like it does on the old Sebenzas, which they finally corrected with the new Incosi. Here you also have a lanyard attachment pin. I did some cut tests, which you'll see later, with the Sanrenmu, and I have to tell you, for $16.29, which it currently costs, this was one of the best knives from a cutting performance I've ever tested out of the box. Better than any of the 4V knives I had recently, better than the CRKT I had recently, equal to any knife I can ever remember. And if you know my previous videos, you know I own quite a few high-priced knives. So you can't say that a cheap knife equals bad cutting performance. And even if it dulls after a bit, 12C27 is very easy to sharpen. And this one even comes on ball bearings, and the Sebenza runs on washers, but of course the Sebenza is one of the smoothest knives there are, with the smallest tolerances there are, and you are only supposed to open it like this. You kind of void your warranty if you flick it open. They really don't like to see that. Although when it comes to the jimping, they use the more aggressive jimping here, which was first seen in the Sebenza 25 and then also in the large Incosi. Also they did the flat grind, which was also used in the 25. Neither the 21 nor the Incosi have a flat grind. Otherwise it's a 3-pillar construction, very flows through. As you can even see here, without extra lighting, it's milled out. We'll compare the weight again to the Sebenza in a second. Here you can see the lock bar locks up very nicely. So if you can live with the fact that this knife is basically a copy of another guy's design, then you're really buying a quality knife. And I personally don't think you're hurting anybody, because if I had bought the Land 9103 before the Sebenza, I wouldn't have thought, okay, now I don't need to buy the Sebenza. And if you're just wanting a $15 knife and buying the Land, you're not gonna think, okay, now I have to buy the Sebenza. But maybe you do. Maybe it's actually a bit of advertisement for Chris Reeve knives. If you have the kind of copy and then wanted the real one at some point. I'm not really torn on this, because these are two totally different markets, and I don't think they really take from each other. And if you just see it as a knife, it is a fantastic knife. The only problem, and really the only thing I can mention, is that this one, besides having two thumb studs, and the Sebenza only has it on the right side, the blue here wears off pretty fast. It's just painted, but that's really the only negative I could find with this knife. It is a fantastic piece for $16.29. Links are in the description. And just for clarification, I wasn't given this for free. I bought this with my own money. Okay, let's still do a size comparison. We already compared it to the Sebenza. Now let's compare it to the Kaiser Gemini, which is a bit of a smaller knife, but still about the same. And also, which you might have recently seen in my knife tag video, the CRKT Jettison. A review of that one is forthcoming, and if you look here, they are both pretty much on equal footing when it comes to the length of them. Okay, I think we talked about everything except to check out the weight of both the Sanrenmu and the original. So the Sanrenmu is 135 even, just to make sure, and the Sebenza is 133.7. So the titanium didn't really help a lot, in my opinion, with the weight. They didn't mill it out, of course. Another thing you can see here, it's perfectly centered, which is not always the case with a $15 knife. And excuse me if I sometimes say $16 or sometimes $15, it's for me pretty much the same. But this is again a fantastic knife for the money. And again, I own both of these, and I own two more Chris Reeve knives, and I also own a bunch of Genzo knives, and I don't think that these markets really hurt each other at all. Okay, if you like this video, please give it a like. If you haven't subscribed already, please do, to be informed of future videos. And if you have something to say, please leave a comment in the comment section. Now for the cutting footage. Bye bye.